Hi y'all, it's me again. The amenities, few and far between. Most of the city houses of the really prosperous were now electrified, but the man who was building a new house was only just beginning to install electric lights without adding gas to least the current failed suddenly, and the houses of the great majority were still lighted by gas in the cities and towns, or oil lamps in the country. A regular chore for the rural housewife was filling the lamps, and a frequent source of family pride was the possession of a Welshback burner that would furnish adequate light for a whole family to read by as they gathered about the living room table. Of course, there were no electric refrigerators, to say nothing of washing machines and deep freeze units. Farmers and several cottagers had ice houses in which big cubes of ice cut during the winter at a neighboring pond or river, or imported by ship from north to south, lay buried deep in sawdust. When you needed ice, you climbed into the ice house, scraped the sawdust away from a fine hunk of ice, and carried it in your ice tongs till you catch an icebox. If you lived in the city, the ice company's wagon showed up at the door, and the iceman stowed a huge cube in your icebox. For a good many years there had been refrigerator cars on the railroads, but the great natural long distance traffic of fresh fruits and vegetables was still in its infancy. In most parts of the United States, people were virtually without fresh fruit and green vegetables from late autumn to late spring. During this time, they consumed quantities of starches in the form of pies, donuts, donuts, potatoes, and hot bread, which few would venture to absorb today. The result was that innumerable Americans were in sluggish health during the months of late winter and early spring, when their diet was short of vitamins. By, by the turn of the century, running water, bathtubs, and water closets were to be found in virtually all the townhouses of the prosperous, though many a fine house on a fashionable street still had only one bathroom. But not only did factory workers and farmers, except perhaps a few owners of big farms, still not dream of enjoying such luxuries, but even the gracious houses of well-to-do people beyond the reach of city water lines and sewer lines, there was likely to be no bathroom at all. They washed with pitcher and basin in their bedrooms, each of them pouring his dirty water from the basin into a slop jar to be emptied later that day. And after breakfast, they visited the privy behind the house. At a luxurious hotel, you might, if you paid extra, get a room with private baths, but not until 1907 that Ellsworth M. Statler, I think that's how you say it, built in Buffalo the first hotel which offered every guest, a room and private bath at a modest price. Please rate, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're on TikTok, please follow and like my videos. Bye.